Let's be honest. No one wants to be that person at the party. You know the one. The one people politely nod at, while secretly scanning the room for escape. But what if I told you that being boring isn't about personality, it's about patterns, and that there's a scientific and philosophical way to be undeniably interesting? Let's talk psychology, Socrates, and actual tactics on how not to be boring. Let's go. Section 1. What boring really means. First off, boring isn't a personality trait. It's a pattern of communication that fails to stimulate curiosity, emotion, or relevance. Psychologists define boring people by a few traits. They talk only about themselves. They over-explain without checking if you care, they lack emotional range, and they don't leave room for wonder or play. A 2012 study found that people labeled as boring were seen as less competent and even less human. Yikes. But it's not about being loud or extroverted. It's about creating psychological tension, that mix of curiosity, surprise, and emotion. And some of the greatest minds in history mastered it. Section 2. What Socrates knew about boredom. Let's rewind to 400 BCE. Socrates, yes, the barefoot philosopher who got sentenced to death, was anything but boring. And it's not because he told jokes. It's because he asked better questions instead of lecturing. Socrates used the Socratic method, asking questions that force people to think. What is justice? What is a good life? Do you really know what you think you know? People found him annoying but never boring. Why? Because he made others the center of the conversation. He sparked self-reflection and tension. That's interesting. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to provoke thought. Section 3. The psychology of being interesting. According to psychologist Paul Bloom, interest is created when there's just enough familiarity, mixed with novelty. The brain loves patterns, but it also craves surprise. So if you want to not be boring, you need to. First, break patterns. Say something unexpected. Second, use contrast. Go from calm to intense, funny to serious. Then leave gaps. Don't over-explain. Let others ask. Last, tell stories. The brain processes stories 22x more effectively than facts. Bonus tip. Mirror the other person's level of energy and vocabulary. That's called conversational synchrony, and it's psychologically magnetic. Section 4 to 3 real-life tactics you can use today, alright? Here are 3 fast, practical ways to never be boring again. 1. Use the curiosity hook instead of saying, I'm reading a book about habits. Try. This book just convinced me I've been brushing my teeth wrong for 10 years. Now they want to know more. 2. Flip the spotlight. Ask questions like, what's something you believe most people would disagree with? Or what's the weirdest thing you've learned lately? People love to talk about themselves creatively. Let them. 3. Tell tiny stories. You don't need a dramatic life. Even a story about your dog chasing a bird becomes interesting if you add emotion, conflict, and a punchy ending. In a nutshell, final thought, you're not boring. You might just be playing it too safe. Stop defaulting to autopilot. Start injecting curiosity, emotion, and a little risk into your conversations. Be more Socrates. Ask better questions. Be more human. Show contrast. Be more you, but bolder. And hey, if you learned something today, don't be boring. Like the video, share it with a curious friend, and subscribe for more deep thoughts that don't feel like a lecture. See you in the next one.